So something interesting. One of the directors from the creators of Elder Scrolls Online has said that they are not going to turn off their servers until they have no players. Until there's zero player base, their servers will remain online. That is a very strong statement to make, considering that there will always be at least a couple hundred playing it decades from now.
That is very interesting. I think that's a great model. Ubisoft not to bash them anymore. I think this was a good decision, but there were many games that they just shut off their servers completely recently. Like Rainbow Six Vegas 2, Assassin's Creed 2.
Sure, but I mean, thinking of it from a managerial point, how could this actually be a good return on investment? At some point, the player base will drop where it costs more to keep the game up.
Microsoft is footing the bill now. Do they really care?
That's actually a fair point, and I say corrected. Let's move on.
I mean, not to say it like that, 100%, but it's true, which actually brings me to another point since we are here.
Almost to tie into what you said, sorry to cut you off, but it just brought a thought. Since Microsoft does own it, isn't it actually Microsoft's decision at the end of the day to keep it up? What if they say, no, we're literally losing 300%, or we're not making any money on this, we're cutting the project, because they own it. And ultimately, their goal is to make more money, not lose money.
Agreed. 100%, and I agree. I believe they still kept a hierarchy over at ZeniMax, so I wonder if it'll take it to the CEO, be like, oh, okay, the CEO of like ZeniMax, be like, okay, here we are. This is what's happening. And then if Phil Spencer will ultimately be like, yeah, about that.
Yeah, I can totally see that happening.
So with with Starfield, it's actually pretty interesting because very recently, there's a lot of rumblings that Bethesda's Starfield, the upcoming sci-fi RPG, is set to be an Xbox and PC exclusive.
I'm sorry, say that again.
Yeah, so Starfield, right, the upcoming game by Bethesda.
Yep.
It's sort of the unreleased, was rumored around there to be an Xbox and PC exclusive.
I could have sworn they said they wouldn't go that route, but then I guess they never definitely said that.
They said whatever was announced, like whatever was officially announced to launch on, let's say in this case, like the PS5, would still launch. They're still honoring all those contracts, but Starfield, we only got a teaser trailer for.
Right. It doesn't make me happy to hear that. I was hoping that they would take the high road and honor the release on all endpoints, all consoles. It honestly kind of sucks. I mean, and I get it. They definitely bought ZeniMax in order to do these types of plays and to reel in more customers in towards Xbox. I know Books has been praising Sony from the get-go that model is the reason why Sony is able to make way more on sales than Xbox, because they hold so many IPs.
Honestly, I was going to say the same thing. I was like, I'm pretty sure they heard Books talking crap. They got tired of it. They saw all his tweets, and he's going to be, you know what? F that guy. And and they're going to make. I'm pretty sure Starfield, from what I've seen, is going to be Skyrim in space. Is probably the way they're going to go.
Yeah.
New IP. It'll be Fallout, Skyrim, that open world campaign RPG kind of deal. I think that's what they're going to do with it, and I'm excited. I enjoy the sci-fi genre. I just got Mass Effect, so I'm gonna dive into that. And I just landed on like the very first planet.
Man,
I saved it because it was late.
Mass Effect definitely was on my list. I am very happy to dive into this. You have some books before I go into my super fanboy rant.
So yeah, I mean, staying on the topic of exclusive games, I believe what they actually did say is that they don't need to like keep it exclusive to like be able to compete, and they're going that direction. That's pretty funny, but it's cool that I have been praising Sony because again, most of my life I've been an Xbox fan. But then I got a PS4 and I noticed what I was missing when it came to those exclusive games, those first party games. So Sony actually announced that they have, like recently they announced they have 25 exclusive like series that they're bringing to this fucking
But does that mean true exclusive or timed exclusive?
No, first party.
Yeah,
25
that doesn't mean
first
anything.
party
Does that
games.
mean true exclusive or timed exclusive?
Oh, I mean, I guess if it goes to PC, whatever.
I don't. They didn't mention, but I did read that as well. So they are working on 25 exclusive PS5 titles, with half of them being brand new IPs and like half of them being
So
and they also said, and I quote, what was it? Hold on. Wait till you see what's coming from our third party partner. So they have secured a whole bunch of like exclusive third party games,
which is it's cool. And Sony has always been able to lock in those third party devs and making it still Sony only. So I mean, again, I'm still gonna be the head of this frontier. I am not happy with these game being held hostage in order to drive up sales. It's ultimately not fair to the consumers. And if somebody wants to go in far enough, if Apple loses the lawsuit where they have so much control on the App Store, why can't the same be done with games and holding games hostages? Ultimately, it hurts the consumers if that's the play that people want to take.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. Sure.
Yeah, you're right. But there was a lawsuit against Sony recently that it says that they're pretty much created a monopoly over their digital games because they only sell first party digital games on the PSN store.
Yeah, we discussed that in last week's episode. Because last week was the episode of lawsuits, basically.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a big one where they stopped selling the like game cards or whatever, out of like GameStop or Best Buy or things like that. So there's that open lawsuit, which I don't know if they have a standing for it, to be honest. But we'll see what comes out of it. I think at the very least, like, you should be able to do something online. And I really don't know if if they're still getting the full cut. I don't know why they wouldn't do like the cards, but I'm sure they were losing money on like the cardboard or whatever that is printed on, or something from an environmental standpoint. If they're trying to cut down on that, because corporations care so much about the environment.
Yeah. It ultimately, I'm not going to dive fully into it. No, that's not the case, obviously. Detecting your sarcasm.
Just the environment one.
Sure.
It's definitely more about the controlling the prices, though, isn't it?
100%. And the fact that they can cut costs and still not pull the price down means more profit in their pocket.
Right.
So
and there's me that buys physical games.
I mean, you're not alone, and we spoke about it. Like, this digital wave does not think about the rural areas of the world where internet is not the best option to download games and updates and whatnot, and a lot of places still rely on hardware. I mean, it's obviously in the low, probably single digits, maybe 10% of the gaming world. But still, I mean, they're gamers, and I feel like they should be looked after and thought about.
It's funny, though, because in my area, there's a lot of people that I talk to that say they have fiber optic and they live in rural areas. Wow.
That's awesome. Well, it's definitely changing. Yeah, it's definitely changing, but there's still people out there who don't have that option.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, there was a whole big thing with Google Fiber. They went to mainly big areas, but there were a lot of places where it was a lot more rural before they stopped the project, unfortunately.
Well, yeah, because they didn't take into account the fact that they have to pay the landowners a fee to dig in their land and to put pipes and fiber underground like that. They had to pay people to do that, which becomes very expensive, especially once someone finds out that they're Google, that they'll just be like, oh, yeah, sure. Let me just ask for a ridiculous dollar amount because I know you can afford it. And the cost of the project just skyrocketed.
They could come and make a tower in my backyard right now, and I'll let them do it for free.
Too bad they have to pay everyone else.
Line, right? Like, no.
They have to pay everyone else between you and their last point, the closest point to get to you. All right. It's not that simple.